welcome back to City Skylines. This is Jackson Hole, Wyoming, and I'm Christopher Tarantola, your humble host. We've been watching the expansion area I had done at the end of the last episode, and I decided to go ahead and pop that on to the beginning of this episode, just kind of watching it grow. As we can see, we're starting to run out of educated workers here, so that's something. That's the first thing I want to address. So what we're going to do is we're going to go and we need to definitely build another high school here. Um, Modern high school, capacity 1,500. Um, I like that. So let's stick it. Oh, you know what I forgot to do? Oh, you know what I forgot to do? I forgot to make this my nightlife area. I definitely need to do that. We're not going to stick the high school too close to that area, but yeah, we'll stick it. You know, let's like control anarchy a little bit and get it nice and close to that road. Yeah, and then we'll bulldoze these little. Yeah, I like that very much. Oh, there's another little thing in there that needs to be good. Perfect. Okay. So we'll add that high school. That ought to help increase our ability. And then we need to lay out our nightlife area. So that's going to be right here. I'm going to use a finer tool. I do want it to be on one side of the street and not necessarily another. We can pop that to the street. Alright, and then I'll even get finer to get these corners over here. Okay, and then commercially wise, that's our leisure. And let's see, what else do we want to do? I think that's it. That's good. Okay, so that's good. So that ought to change things up quite a bit as well. And really put a different flavor on this area. And we'll just watch it grow. Hopefully that was a nice little snippet for you. A little bit more editing for me. I don't like that as much, but hey, such is life. Say la vie. So I think while this is continuing to grow, we have some more industrial demand, and we can go ahead and add some offices. I think that's what we can finish this square off with, first of all, and then one thing I was thinking about doing is going ahead and adding some buses. So let's get our public transportation off and running, shall we? So I'm gonna go to the bus station here, and there is the new biofuel bus depot. I'll go ahead and use that biofuel. I'd rather have electric buses, but Tesla hasn't started making those yet, so. Where do I want to put this? I want to put this, I think, on the industrial side, or maybe even over here. But I'll put it just over here on the industrial side. I think right over here would be just fine. I don't know. Maybe we want to put it on this side. And now we can start laying out our grid. So, Sam Burr, he does a fantastic job of telling you how he does his buses. You check out his videos about his public transportation. I'm not going to go necessarily as in-depth. I don't do it the same way he does it. I'm a little bit more lazy. Let's be honest. I'm just more lazy than that guy. But I think what we're going to do is we'll have a loop that goes around this one-way street loop. and then we'll have another loop that kind of goes into our residential and then back around, and then we'll do another loop that kind of goes from our industrial loops in around, maybe into our residential. So that's that's my plan for the moment. We'll see how that works. So add a stop, and I like to add it every. You can kind of see where the area of effect when they smile. That kind of is a hint of how far away from the bus stop will they walk. So basically, all these guys right here, they're happy with this bus stop. So I do it about twice as far as that, approximately, unless you're doing like an express bus. Um, and I'm probably just going to mirror that on this side, what I did on that side, as close as I can at least. And so there's my first line. I do have a nifty little mod that changes the color so that it's not always going to be just the same color every time, which I find really nice. Also want to, so I noticed that there's a long queue right there to get out of this street. I did put a bus on that street, but I noticed I put it going the opposite direction where there's seemingly less traffic. Um, and so that's a thing. Buses will create a lot of traffic. So I tend to try and keep them off my main streets. I want them on my side streets, because if they're on my main streets, they're gonna create more traffic than I want. And so this bus stop is kind of a transfer from this bus stop, and quite frankly for that one too. Um, and we will probably, because of where it is, it's probably going to loop back in this way. So I'm probably going to make a turn, and I might, yeah, I think I'll go this way. And there. I don't know, I might want to go ahead and move it here, just so I can make this turn here and get into this neighborhood here. I think that's how we'll do this. And so as I'm placing these, again, I'm just trying to make it to where it's about double the distance. Well, it looks like I need to add some water for that little corner there. Um, I just noticed that. Try and make it to where the bus route makes sense. I try and do my right turns. I obviously I have the American, not the British. We drive on the right hand side of the road, so right hand turns are better than left hand turns. Not that it's impossible to do a left hand turn. You certainly don't want to do it at a busy intersection where you're going to have a lot of traffic issues because of it. And so that's generally, I like to do my loops in a clockwise fashion. You're going to get some left turns just because of your irregularities in your street grade, and that's fine. You want to be just maybe think about where you're doing it, so you're not just doing it not just anywhere, but in a location where it's not likely to give you too much issue. And so you got that loop. We got this loop, which is a pretty good loop. You might want to do one more that really encompasses the residential going into the commercial. And so I'm gonna actually, this is really a really hard one. These guys by nature, they moved here to have a nice place, but having a bus go here and then have to turn around and then go here and then turn around, it's not feasible. So what I think I'm going to do is I'm gonna force them to walk down this path, which is one of the reasons why I made this path, and I'll make a bus stop right here. But they will have to walk a little bit further than the average person to get to the bus stop. And then we can go there. And so when I'm going into an area that I've already covered, I like to have some bus stops that match up with existing lines so that you can transfer, but then go into places where you haven't been before. I'd rather turn left here. I wish I could force that, but I don't want to put a bus stop right there. So there's that, and I'll have it come around this way. I'll give you a bus stop there. We'll do another one there. Yeah, we're gonna come out that way. I'll have you go. I'll go ahead and give you a bus stop here and there, and done. All right, so there's my buses for now, and I'll come back to that after I probably doubled the general area of my city, not necessarily the population, but doubled the area of the city. And you also might also think about excuse me. I needed that. You might also think about managing. Starting to have electricity problems here, so we've clearly reached our electricity limit. So I'm going to go ahead and add a solar updraft tower. I'll complete that other thought in a minute here. And bang. There you go. Alright. How's our water doing? We need to upgrade that as well. We've expended enough that we need to do that. So we'll add another 3 or 4. As you can see, at this point, we are making good money. So I don't have to worry about money too much. Doesn't mean it's a non-existent thing, but I'm feel very comfortable adding 4 of those and not worrying about the cost. And as we continue to do this, at this point, I'm making enough money that number's only going to go up, and it's going to really start opening up the option zone to the point where I can just now play the way I want to play, which is I can just do what I want to do. I don't have to think about the strategy of it too much. That can be fun for you when you play it, but that's just not A, for doing the videos, but then B, for what I'm trying to do, make a good looking city, what I'm trying to do. So power ought to be taken care of. There we go. And what I was about to say earlier before I got distracted by the lack of power, and we're also saving now, so we're glitching out, is you might also at some point want to go, okay, start, instead of just expanding the city, like I got enough demand here that I could easily just keep on expanding the city. And we could do that for a while, but at some point you want to think about, okay, what are my services, and beyond just providing power, water, garbage, police and fire, and education, do we want to really infuse more services into a certain area to really boost them up? So that's part of. So I didn't just do the public transportation because of that. I'm like, okay, what do I want to do right now? I could have kept on expanding, but I think it was time to go ahead and do the public transportation aspect of it. And there are lots of other services. Do not at your own peril will you forget about these unique buildings. And I have them all unlocked, so I can do them anytime I want, whenever I want, however I want. But even when you're just unlocking them little by little, you still have access to a lot of different ones at different times. And I don't recommend, like, I'm not going to sit here and place every single one in my city. My city's not big enough. be, if I went ahead and placed this huge stadium in this little itty bitty town. I mean, that stadium is like 5% of the entire area of the town. It's just not. It's inappropriate at the moment. So I'm not going to do that yet. I'm going to wait till my city's quite a bit larger before I add the stadium. Even though if I did, that stadium would probably do just fine. But if I don't need a metro, then I don't need a stadium. Let me put it that way. I don't add a stadium until I'm ready for a metro system. Um, but these, I'm sorry, I did get distracted. You can still add, little plazas and parks and stuff. And I've actually, I don't mind having them unlocked by cheat, by mod, because I have gone through and I've played it to where I earned everything the hard way already. And once you do that, once you're not interested in doing it again, at least me. So I'm not interested in doing it again, but I have done it, so I know for me what I'm trying to get out of the game. I've gotten that aspect of it. I did find it was fun to kind of chase that down a little bit. So got the gate to the city. I don't know where I would put that. I guess I'd put it on this one, but I don't know. I don't know. I think I would. I'd put it like right here, but I'd put it so that it would go across the two wide street, the medium sized street, not the smaller street. So I'll wait till I upgrade that. And besides, I got my power right here. I don't know if I want that to be the gate to my city. So that'll probably happen like right here. Probably create like a nice thoroughfare right here, and that'll be a good gateway to the city. So you're always thinking ahead. It's kind of like chess in that, but I know I'm jumping around a lot, and I apologize. That's my ADHD. Perhaps not a great thing to have for somebody that has the ambitions that I do with my YouTube, but these really will help your city grow a lot. I mean, immensely. And if you ever get to the point where you place these, I don't like the way they look. I don't find that they add the right flavor to the city that I'm looking for. They look too cartoony, and they're caricatures of what the buildings do, and they're completely unrealistic in how they affect your city. But at the same time, I do like using them every once in a while, and I'll tuck them in someplace where I don't actually see them too much, because what will happen is, if I'm done trying to worry about pollution, and I put that Eden project there, it just makes everything go. But when you do that, everything is going to go to the max, so everything's going to super upgrade, and so you're not going to have this medium. Like right now, even though this is technically high density, these are all medium density buildings. They're not skyscrapers. They're not. This building would be this tall and taller once you start placing some of these monuments. So you just got to be. You got to strike that right balance for what you're trying to do with your city. If you're trying to get the biggest, baddest city you can, then you want to use those a lot more. If you're just trying to build something that looks realistic and nice, like what I'm trying to do, you might want to be just a little bit more careful on how you use them. That doesn't mean don't use them, and I probably actually will, but you want to be just have a little bit more thought into how and where you use them. And so, for example, I got this Posh Mall here. I can stick that there, and you know what? It's going over that thing, and I got my anarchy on. But sticking the Posh Mall there, even with people going through it, I don't mind doing that, because in real life, you might have a mall that goes through it, and you would be able to walk right through that mall. I don't know that I want to, but to do it right there. But that's just to give you an idea. Actually, I'll probably place it right here. That makes a lot more sense to me. And we can delete that. Yeah, and it's right next to all that parking. So that's great. Looks real good. And that's gonna upgrade the look of the of this area here. All right, guys. I think I bloviated enough for you on this one. Um, Hopefully, it was this. This has kind of been a bit of a different episode, so hopefully y'all enjoyed it. I had more to talk about, and as we get going, I'm going to have more to talk about. But thanks again. Always, as always, comment. And your comments. I'm recording these probably 2 to 6 episodes at a time. So as you comment, I might not implement your comments if they're good suggestions for several episodes. So just bear with me on that. But please do give me comments and feedback. I still really appreciate that. Always like and subscribe if you're not going to subscribe. And you're willing to take the time to comment on what you would like to see different, whether that's another game, something completely different. I'll do commentaries on movies, and I'm going to do that. That sort of stuff. What is it that you're looking for? And in any case, thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time. Bye.